Hi, we're group 151. Our group's topic is crash data analysis. The goal of our research on this issue is to figure out some rules behind the crash data related to different factors and give constructive suggestions to government departments. Here's our agenda. As you can see, we have 6 major parts. So let me first introduce the overall summary. As an overview of the dataset, there were 184,000 incidents in Maryland over the period of 2015 to 2024. Through the study of natural factors, we found that accidents tend to occur during the day. Besides, weather condition has a small impact on the crash's injury percentage. Next, let's move on to the driver abuse. Suspected alcohol or drug abuse is the highest factor, accounting for 64% of crash cause factor. Also, it leads to the largest number of crashes injuries. From the individual driver behavior's view, the most common factor was looking but not seeing, which was the cause of 2,101 accidents. Then we turn to the road and vehicle part. Our data analysis shows that road speed limit, vehicle age, and many other factors are associated with accidents. First, the number of accidents is highest, and vehicles were mostly disabling when the speed limit is 35 miles per hour. Under this circumstance, if people get injured, most vehicles shows disabling damage. The equipment itself also plays a role. Most serious crashes occur on cars made before 1975, and the most severely injured part of the car is generally the front end, and the motorcycle is the most severely damaged model type. Next, it will be Zhuotao Wang to introduce the natural sections.
In terms of how the day or night affect the crash, as we can see from the pie chart, it is showing here that about 70% of the crashes happen on day and only 30% of crashes happen at night. And from the right-hand side of the map, we can see that the specific streets like here happen more like accidents than the area like here. And in terms of the next slides, you can see that the crash time affect the crash as well. For the left-hand side, we can see that it is showing the crash time for 10 o'clock, and there are different fatal, possible, no apparent injury over here. And if you look into the animation in our tableau slides, it can show different time affect different fatal injury. And from the right-hand side, 50 to 70 is the crash peak time. It is showing like those three. And to the bottom of the page for the pie chart, the 6-pack chart, we can see the 0 to 4 is the highest fatal injury happen time. And 4 to 8 has the highest possible injury happening time. And for the last page, in my part, we just want to find out the weather condition affect the crash. Firstly, we can see from the pie chart that 70% of the dry condition consulting to the crash, and it is in our sense because the weather condition for sunny is most common case. And in terms of weather trend, we can see that may happen for most frequently for wet condition. It is showing like here, and January happen most cases for the ice, frost, or snow case. And lastly, for the dew excesses, as we can see, like for dry, wet, ice, or other condition, the injury type is always keep the same or change a word. It is showing a straight line, which is showing there are no great difference in different weather condition.
When talking about human factors that influence the crash, we think that the driver's abuse of alcohol or drug and whether the driver is distracted by something might influence the car accidents. So let's look at these two charts that illustrate the impact of driver behavior. For the donut chart on the left, we could see that suspected alcohol or drug use is the most significant factor, accounting for 64% of all the cases, followed by alcohol present or contributed, which means in these cases, the alcohol is actually detected, not simply suspected. And we also noticed that some cases were happened under combined contribution of alcohol and drug, which is really dangerous. For the heat map on the right, it shows the relationship between injury severity and the driver's abuse. Similar as before, suspected alcohol or drug use leads to the highest count of all the various injuries. Even though, fortunately, most of the injuries were not so apparent, it do show some fatal injuries caused by drivers' abuse of alcohol, drug, or medication. And we also noticed that holidays are peak time for drunk driving. Before I go through this part, let's look at the tableau we created. So here you could see the holiday icons we created, and this shows the New Year holiday icon, Independence Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and simply normal days. By clicking on different icons, you could see the data during these special holidays. And here we choose Thanksgiving and Christmas as an example. So during these two holidays, we were surprised to know that more than 90% of the crashes were related to drunk driving. And compared to the previous 30%, the number here is 3 times as high, which do show drunk driving is a serious problem during holidays. We all know that people might go out with their friends or attend a family reunion during holidays, and it's common for them to drink a lot. Although there were few serious injuries, the crash is bound to spoil the fun. Also, many people might think that using a phone or eating or drinking might be the most common excuses for distraction. Is that true? Let's have a see. So here is the destruction type, and the bar chart shows the rank according to number of crash cases under each destruction type. So if you click on the parameter here, you could see the bar goes up and down during different months. And actually, the most common cause was drivers looking but not seeing, accounting for more than 2,000 crash cases in October of all the years, making it the month with the highest number of incidents. Other distractions, such as inattentive and outside objects, also ranked top 3, but not the most. And we were happy to know that only a few people use their cell phone when they are driving.
After analyzing the human factor, now we'd like to look for the speed limit and vehicles. So in this part, we all know that different speed limit may cause different accident numbers. So first we use the numbers and the speed limit to have a bar chart. And we found that at a speed of 35 miles per hour, there have most numbers of accidents. But fortunately, that most people didn't have hurt. And why there are 35? Actually, many people maybe think it is because there are most roads in our cities, their speed limit is 35 miles per hour. It makes sense. So how to avoid this situation? So to avoid this situation, we need to use the percentage. It's the next part. Using the percentage, we found that it's a different situation. At the speed at 15 miles per hour, the injury potential is the highest. So it means that it will have a more accident at the 15, and in this accident, people will get much easier to get hurt. So in the next page, we will analyze the 35 miles per hour and the 15 miles per hour most basically. So at the 35 miles per hour, we will find that most vehicle damages is disabling, and you can see that there are many accidents that is more than other situations. However, what happened in the percentage? We will find that in the percentage, actually, if the vehicle damage is destroyed, people will get much more easier to get hurt, especially someone gets the fatal injury. Is what we don't want to see. And in the speed of 15 miles per hour, we found that the vehicle problem is disabling. So actually it is good. But what if the people get injury? If the vehicles get destroyed, the most worst situations, we will find that there are 9.21% people that will get fatal injury also. So actually, it also means that if the people get injury, the vehicles, it will also get injury too. So why this will cause these situations? We think that we need to analyze the vehicle problems. Maybe it is because the vehicle's years, maybe it's because the vehicle's parking situations. So in the next part, we will more focus on the vehicle problems. And let's welcome my partner to the next part.
In addition to factors mentioned before, we're also interested in what factors of the vehicle itself contributed to the damage extent. We first create a line chart of cars with different damage extents, and we see that in the disabling category, the second most serious ones, we have a higher percentage of cars made before 1975. We're also interested in where on the cars do these damages happen. Therefore, we create a heat map of the first impact locations and the damage extent. We see that most serious damage took place in the very front of the vehicle, namely 12 o'clock. Here we break down these into 4 categories with different damage extent. And we see that all of the categories, only except the superficial damaged cars, experience the first impact location in 12 o'clock, especially for the most serious damage. The disabled cars, 63% experience first impact in its 12 o'clock locations. We're also interested in whether the vehicle type makes a difference. Therefore, we create 6 groups for this parameters. And we do see that this vehicle type makes a difference. We see most crash cases are with passenger cars as the largest number shown right here. And we see that motorcycle is the most dangerous, as this is the only category with a significant fatal injury of 3.8%, and also has the highest injury rate of approximately 77%. And we see that right here, bus is the safest with the lowest injury rate of only 2.6%. So based on our findings, we generated a couple of recommendations for 3 groups of subjects. For government, we strongly advise them to add more traffic controls during the peak traffic period. And also, since we conclude there's more behavior of driving under the influence of alcohol during holiday seasons, we advise government to send additional reminders avoiding such behaviors and also increase patrols during the holiday seasons. For drivers, we strongly suggest them avoiding driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs to reduce the risks of crashes and injuries, and always stay attentive and always ensure full visibility while driving to avoid accidents caused by inattention or failing to see hazards. For passengers, please try to sit in the back of the car for safety reasons and avoid a motorcycle and take the bus if possible. That is the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.